Welcome back to Challenger League. I'm Corvid, and I'm bringing you the Prix in Senegal. And after a long delay, we're finally on the track, getting ready for our qualifying session here. Only 15 drivers on the grid. We've had a lot of trouble getting some things working on the server, but after a lot of work in the back rooms, we've got ourselves on the track at last. This is a very winding, curvy track along the coast here in Nijani. And we are just following Jaruni through. He's taking that hairpin with pretty good line. Got to really maximize your exits on a circuit like this, and with so many long, sweeping corners, there's going to be quite a benefit to running the softs at the moment. It's going to be F186 with the current provisional pole. That is a surprise for the Mazda Motorsport driver as it is, standing in for today. 33.25, I think that will be improved upon soon enough. We'll have to see how close the drivers will get to the maximum afforded by the car, of course. Matimar in P2, Nakes and Bubbles filling the second row, as some of the drivers are getting through and finishing that second lap. We'll see any improvements here. Jaruni topping the timing sheets, and Matimar improving as well, still on this the front row. We see Eurus climb up to P6 as well. Mike in the top three has got one more lap to potentially break through that 33-second barrier. Big chance for Matimar to score even more points in his current title challenge, with Guzman, a rare miss for him. One of the drivers most affected by the cuts from the server today, but I don't think Matimar will improve. Tomatoes ties Jaruni, and that'll be a shared front row for the two drivers. That is a big surprise there. Tomatoes and Jaruni on pole position. Well, I believe it should go to Jaruni. He made that lap first. Third, 3.07. The front row separated by next to nothing there. Literally nothing. Matimar will take P3. Carlitos with an incredible lap takes it all the way to P4. Mike 97 will start in 5th place with F186 alongside him. Kiato starts 7th for the Nordic Blizzard team, but just ahead of Nakes. Eurist in P9, followed by Rusky in P10, who will take that pole position for the sprint race in the wet. Bubbles in P11, followed by Little One in 12th. Mr. Kimster, Gwetsley, and Sebas at the back of the field. A few drivers, a few teams, with only one car in it for today, or at least for this qualifying session. We'll have to see how it goes later on if anyone finds some quick joiners to the server. They might be able to join in and fill in some spots. But for now, that is how it's going to line up. Jaruni and Tomatoes front row for the feature, but it's going to be Rusky ahead of Eurist for the start of the sprint. Alrighty. And here we are for the start. The rain is raining down here at the west coast of Africa. Here in Senegal, the lights are up and now they're off. And we're getting underway here in Nijani. Rusky leading us off with Eurist and Kiato tailing away behind them. It's a bit of an awkward start, almost 4 wide into the first major corner. That is a bunch of drivers into the gravel there, and it's Rusky leading us away. Mike 97 diving down into the lead of the race as it is. Oh wow, Kiato finding the gravel there at the first big hairpin, and we have F186 falling behind. A little ghosted there for some reason. But it's Mike 97 with a good start. Matimar climbing through the field, starting from P8, and he's looking to take the lead at the final corner, but it's going to be side by side between him and Mike 97 then at the end of lap 1. Nakes in 3rd, Eurist in P4 with Carlitos in 5th now. Bubbles and Kiato chasing Mr. Kimster. There's a lot of trouble going on with the server at the moment. You can just tell by how the cars are moving, I feel. Sebas and Gwetsley just running through. Jaruni, Little One, both velocities clogging the field there. Oh my goodness, that's a A lot of concertina effect around the back half of the field at the moment. Rusky really falling behind. Sebas trying to get through. It's not quite working out for him. And now it's looking like Mike 97 is has a neck in front in this battle for the lead. 2-horse race between him and Matimar as it stands. Carlitos now in P3. Kiato copping a bit of a shunt there as he's fighting away with Urist and Nakes in particular. 3 wide they go through that hairpin. It's chasing down that VEO in the podium positions. It's Urist now in P4. Might be able to get to the slipstream of Carlitos here if he gets a good exit, and he does. Carlitos as well makes a bit of an error, gets shoved off there, Urist. He's lost a lot of positions from that one into the clutches of Bubbles and Jaruni in that battle there for P7. That's going to become a battle for P6. Nick's running with Kiato in 5th and 4th respectively. It's still the same top 3, but Matimar has gotten through on Mike, but Mike makes a big lunge there and he takes the position back into the lead of the race here. And it's still everything going. Mike with a bit of a mistake on the entry to that the tightest corner on the circuit. Matimar trying to make a move there. Doesn't go. He does go for it here. Just on the inside of the long final few corners. That big sweeper. It actually allows Carlitos a bit of an opportunity into the front here. He's got the slipstream. It's going to go 3 wide into turn 3. The first major corner of the circuit. And it looks like Matimar has actually lost out on the position to Carlitos. Wow. Oh, that's a big cut there. Matimar just on the inside. Just cuts too much of the grass there, and he's going to give up the position. But Mike 97 with a mistake. Carlitos might be in with a shot to take the lead of the race, and he does. Into the lead now, right at the end of lap 5. And, oh my god, he's made a mistake at the exit of that final corner, and Mike 97 is back into the lead, though. Carlitos, though, will take that slipstream and hopefully try to run away. Kiato also getting past Matimar here. He's into the podium positions, having driven pretty well for on his own for quite a little while. He's also taken that fastest lap of the race so far. Jaruni in 5th, then it's followed by Urus. Tries to make a move there. Jaruni with just a bit too much grip to make that, to hold on to that at the moment. Nakes that was the weirdest move I've seen in a while. He made it on the inside where there's a little bit of gravel there. I'm not sure what really happened, but Jaruni is running away and Urus will not be pleased about that one. F186 now in P8, followed by Tomatoes, Mr. Bubbles, Rusky, and Mr. Kimster all in a grow, running down to 12th. Little One making a bit of a mistake there in 13th, followed by Sebas and Gwetsley at the back of the field. Definitely hasn't been practiced on this track as well. He's also made a pit stop, so we'll have to see if he can lift himself from the back in that Rika Auto car. Mike 97 battling still with Carlitos through that hairpin. Still Mike in front. We'll have to see if Kiato will be able to make some inroads on those two. The gap between them is about a second. And it's another almost 2 seconds between Kiato and Matimar. He's really gapped the pole here as Jaruni is chasing away in P5. But it is essentially, for now, a 2-horse race. Maybe even a 3-horse race with about 3.5 laps to go. Carlitos makes a big dive. He's lost a lot of time. And Kiato is through into P2. This could be a great result for him because he's on that massive charge at the moment. And if Mike 97 doesn't wise up, he could be under threat now. Half a second is the gap between 1st and 2nd now. Carlitos really struggling with the wear. Matimar still in 4th. Gaining a little bit of time here. Personal best in that last lap. Almost a 10th off the fastest lap of the race so far, and it's on 8 lap old wet tyres, so definitely some pace in store for the pole, who's currently leading the championship. Jaruni in P5 slowly falling away from that battle. Urist in 6th, followed by Nakes, Tomatoes with Rusky and F186 in 9th and 10th, though. Kimster and Bubbles still pretty close, so this might be a tight fight for these final points paying positions. Only the top 10 get the points in that sprint. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out at the end of our running today. Little One in 13th, followed by Gwetsley and Sebas is really struggling on those wet tyres. We'll go back to the leaders now. Kiato makes a big mistake, though. We caught that right as we switched our perspective here, and he's lost out to Carlitos. He might lose out to Matimar too, because the grip is really proving tough for these drivers. Kiato finds the gravel again. He might have gotten in Matimar's way then. Mati slowed up a lot there. And Carlitos is really struggling too. It looks like Mike's 97's to lose here at this stage. One more lap to go. About a little over a second in it between first and second. Kyato really falling away and finding a lot of trouble on this group. Matima is hounding him away for that final position on the podium. He's trying to get that switch back though, but Kyato holding firm on the position, defending quite well. It's Mike still ahead. Matima dives in really late braking, but it's not, he didn't have enough grip to really hold on to it. Gotta go back to the leaders, and Mike 97 makes a big mistake on the final corner, but it does not change the result. He wins, Carlito second, Matima takes third off Kyato, and Girouni will finish in P5. Next, with a mistake, it lets Eurus take P6, with Rusky in 8th, Tomatoes 9th, Bubbles and F186 finishing 10th and 11th, Kimster in 12th, and it's Wetzley and Little One with Sebas just rounding the final corner here. And definitely not the result we're expecting, but Nike 97 with, I believe, his first CL victory. Brilliant result for him, and it's shaping up to be quite the fruitful season for him, given his successes in all of the leagues we've been running for the past half a season now. It's quite the delightful result for him. But yes, Carlitos again, big surprise, podium for him as well. And Matima will make it another podium for the Center Corsa team. P4 for Kyato, I think that is his highest position. No, he got third. He got a podium earlier in the race, but he was looking really close to getting that win today. Girouni in 5th, followed by Eurus, Nakes, Rusky, Tomatoes, and Mr. Bubbles, the last one in the points. F186 in 11th, and Kimster, Gwetzley, Little One, and Sebas. We haven't got too much time to play with, but the cars have all been pretty quick today. Let's head on to that feature race. 30 laps awaiting us. And we're back in the sunny skies. 30 laps to go. And we get underway with the sprint race here. Girouni leading us away from the two center courses. Carlito in 4th, and it's F186 heading into turn 3. It looks like Girouni has run it long down the outside. Matima with a big dive into the lead of the race. F186 getting into a lot of contact there as the two drivers hit side by side. Girouni and Matima both hit the gravel. F186 leading the race now with Tomatoes in 2nd. He's trying to make a few moves here. Kyato as well making moves into the top 3 once again. Great start from him. Girouni in 4th, Matima in 5th, Carlitos and Mike 97 side by side into the last corner. 6th and 7th for them. Eurus in 8th, Little One, Nakes, Kimster, Sebas, Bubbles, Rusky and Gwetzley rounding out the grid after lap 1. Tomatoes gets through. No, Kyato gets through. It is absolute carnage at the front here. 3-way tie. Almost a lag rocket there. Matima getting in a bit of trouble there. Tomatoes and Kyato side by side through this long right hand up, going straight into that hairpin. And Tomatoes and Mike 97 get a bit of an issue with it, but they hold on to the position for now. Oh my goodness, big lag rocket from Kyato there. Girouni now into the lead of the race. I'm not sure how that really happened there. And it's a tight fight. Matima gets smacked into the side of the wall there, and he's lost a bunch of time. Alright, so Girouni in the lead now. Eurus pulling away into 2nd place alongside his teammate in Little One. Side by side now. Little One, then Eurus. Mike 97 now in P4. The Nakes in 5th. Tomatoes, followed by Kyato, Carlito, 8 car train here. Followed by Matima just catching back up to this group. Mr. Kimster in P10 on the mediums. And it's Gwetzley, Bubbles, Sebas, and F186 and Rusky. F186 all the way back here in P13 as Gwetzley makes a bit of an error there. And Rusky, the only one on the hard tyre to start us off. But it is Girouni leading after a little over 4 laps here. Little One about a second off after that mistake there. And it lets Nakes maybe challenge for the lead. Lead of this chasing pack. Mike 97 behind him, as well as Eurus, Tomatoes, Kyato, Matima. It is all going still. Very much a slip train as it stands after lap 4. Eurus and Mike 97 going side by side. Big shove there from that chasing pack, and Mike has copped a big brunt of it. It's 4 wide into that hairpin. Eurus getting the worst out of that one. Kiato, Tomatoes, Matimar, all side by side. Sebas is our first retirement from the race, and things are just not getting any prettier with some of the cars. Matimar is completely offline. He's lost even more time here. Kiato, Tomatoes, Eurist running away from him. Little One with a bit of an error there. He loses the position in the top 2. It lets the Australian through into second, but he's got a almost 3-second gap to Jaruni now, who is running away with this sprint race as it stands. Snake's Little One, Eurus, Tomatoes, Kiato, the chasing pack here between P2 and P6, and it's mistakes galore here. Little One falling into the clutches of his teammate and Kiato. They might go 3 wide here. Everyone takes a different braking mark. That's really good to see. Everyone avoiding action, as Eurus takes that position on the podium for now, with Little One in hot pursuit. Kiato falling away a little bit. Tomatoes is in, and he's going to be the first person into the pits now. We'll have to see where he comes out. He comes out the very back of the field here, but that undercut will be quite handy for him going into lap 7 of the race now. 3-second gap between Jaruni and Nakes, as Jaruni is finding the wear really tough now on that 7th lap of soft tyres. Nakes getting chased down by Eurus. Eurus makes a good move on the inside. Nakes with a bit of the gravel on his tyres, and Eurus will take the lead as they both head into the pit lane after 7 laps. Little One, Kiato in, Matty, Bubbles, F1, 86, Kimster going on with the mediums. Gwetsley is staying on, so is Rusky, and Tomatoes. That undercut, is giving him a bit of time compared to everyone around him, but he's trying to make a bit of a risky dive there, and now loses out the position to Kiato. He's now in P9 on the road. So a few drivers going for the different strats. Jaruni's back on the softs. Kimster, Rusky, and Gwetsley all have yet to stop. Eurist on the mediums. Little One on the mediums as well. Kiato on the hard tyres now. Nakes on the mediums as well, as we see a lot of lag affecting the Australian at the moment. Tomatoes and Matimar on a second set of softs as Gwexley and Mr. Kimster make their stops now. Bubbles also on the soft tyre once again. So Kiato, Eurist, and Nick. Oh my goodness, that was a big shove there. Kiato and Matimar lag rocketing into the wall, and that is even more time lost for those two. As Rusky is still still comfortably in P2 actually. Running 9 laps on those hard tyres. Eurist still yet to catch him on the fresh mediums. But not helped a lot by the absolute battle that is going on right behind him. Little One, Nakes running through. Bubbles, Tomatoes, Matimar still a 6-car train here, as they look to have lost Kiato altogether. He's all the way back in P11. Behind Kimster, behind Mike 97, who both rocket into the wall, and F186 gets past Kimster. It's Kiato, Gwetsley on some fresh medium tyres, and Carlitos the back on the hards. The last of our runners so far. Jaruni comfortable in the lead now. It's a 6-second gap to Rusky, who pulls in to the pit lane after 10 laps on the hard tyres, and I think he's going another set of hards. We'll have to see, because he cannot do 3 stints on the hards. So what his strategy is for the remainder of the race will be interesting to see play out. Jaruni 6.2 seconds ahead of Mr. Bubbles now, who takes second. He's got a lap older tyres compared to everyone around him. Well, not a lap older, but more so that the softs are starting to wear out already compared to the mediums that some of the drivers around them have put on. But Bubbles and Tomatoes are trying to force their way through. Tomatoes is on a lap older softs compared to those in front. Nakes on the mediums, I will be appreciating this slipstream however he can, getting a little bit further away from Eurist, who is also on the mediums, as Bubbles makes a bit of an error there. It's Little One in P7, Mike and F186 in 8th and 9th, and Kimster ran out the top 10. Kiato now in P11. It was looking really hopeful for him this race, but he's really fallen away with some of the contact he's made with some of the other drivers. It's been an absolute carnage fest here in Senegal, as Gwetsley and Carlitos go side by side, and Gwetsley with the better grip will hold on to the position here. Carlitos still trying to make a bit of a challenge of it as they battle for P12. Rusky behind them in 14th, and as of right now, last in the running order. Jaruni rounding the final corner finishes lap 13, and he's got a near 7-second gap with more than half of the race still to go. It's just an absolute benefit for him to run away on those soft tyres, and he's going to have a big cushion in terms of a lead for the rest of the race. We'll have to see what his strategy is for the remainder of the race, of course, given he will need to box for a different set of tyres, and so will Matimar. Snakes is now running in P3 on the mediums. Bubbles and Eurist trying to hold on to the slipstream, but Bubbles is really finding the wear quite tough on him. Jaruni now into the pit lane after 14 laps on the softs, and he's going on for medium tyres. Oh my goodness, Mike 97 might have just disconnected as well. That's going to be big for him. Jaruni pits for mediums as a full pit stop ahead of current P2, which is Nakes, who is slowing down a bit on those old mediums. Mike 97 in P3 on the mediums as well. And it's Eurist with F186 and Kiato now. Kiato making a bit of a charge on those hard tyres. With F186 in tow. Matimar now coming through on those fresh mediums, and will be hoping to make quick work of everyone around him. Little one on the mediums will having to pit relatively soon, who is in F186 off the mediums. As Tomatoes and Carlitos go by in now what will be 8th and 9th. Rusky followed by Gwetsley, followed by Bubbles in 12th. As Kimster also makes a pit, but it is smooth sailing here. Jaruni is slowly building back that gap he had on the rest of the field. Snakes is really finding the strain of the tyres now. That's about, I want to say, 8 or 9 laps on the mediums, and he is in. He's done with those tyres now. Matimar and Kiato now chasing. Kiato working the hards pretty well, and you'd think that Kiato might be able to only go one more stop for the rest of the race if he wants to go for the hards. He has run this for... he did pit on lap 7, did he not? Along with most of the rest of the field after the initial soft stint, so that's now 10 lap old hard tyres for him. And with the slipstream from Matimar, he can definitely go a couple more, maybe make the last stint a lot more comfortable for him, and perhaps give this potential fight for P2 a bit more stakes in it. Looks like Jaruni is just a bit too comfortable at the front, and it's not going to be really hard to challenge him from such a big gap, especially with the potential tyre advantage you'll have later on. Tomatoes now in 4th, and he's really not doing too well in terms of staying on the track, but even a little bit of wear really makes the tyres feel quite tough to handle on this track, especially given so many of these corners are high-speed, long corners you need to be able to really commit to, and give a lot of the strain to the front tyres when you're making when you're going through corners like that, of course. Bubbles and Nakes now 5th and 6th following through together. Nakes on significantly fresher tyres, will be hoping to make a move soon. He's not able to quite do it there. Still a little ways back from Mr. Bubbles, as Mike 97 is also challenging on basically the same amount of tyres Nakes has, though. Nakes with a bit of an error there. Mike 97 trying to get through. Nakes starts from the inside to the outside and holds onto the position for now, from what we can see. Oh goodness, that was a bit of a lag stoppage right there. I'm not too sure why that played out. Carlitos in the pits now, coming out in P12, just behind Mr. Kim's, just ahead of Gwetsley. And Jaruni finishing off lap 20 now, and he's quite comfortable on those medium tyres. There's definitely a bit of lag in the server at the moment. Definitely a bit of lag. Matimar in P2 now, pretty comfortable ahead of Kiato, who is running these hards like his life depends on it. I believe this might be lap 14 on the hard tyres for him, which is quite miraculous if I do say so myself. He can definitely finish the rest of the race, perhaps on the mediums or the softs to finish off his two-stop strategy, and looks like he might be the only one finishing on two-stop. Rusky might be able to do something similar if he finishes on the mediums as well. Tomatoes trying to get through on Kiato. Kiato's going to stay out another lap. He's going for another lap. I'm very, very surprised he's been able to run those hards for as long as he pleases. Snakes is challenging through, and that's another thing as well, is that Kyoto will now be potentially challenging for the podium here after taking that alternate strategy, because hards have been just so good for him at the moment. Especially given the slipstream he's had, especially from Matima a couple of laps earlier. Mike97 Nakes getting into the fight here, but Kyoto might have to see the position here. A bit of a mistake from the Nordic Blizzard driver. His Tomatoes is going to be the first one heading to pit lane in this potential battle for P3. It looks like Matima is he's pulled out a huge gap to Nakes and Mike97 as it stands, and he's actually pulled quite a bit of time back on Jaruni, if we were to be totally honest. Gap's about 4 seconds now. At the peak of the race, it was looking closer to about 7. So definitely a good shout from Matima here in terms of his strategy. Jaruni on the softs for the final stint. Looks like everyone's going to follow him into the pit lane. Matima is coming out on the softs, so is Nakes, Mike97 and Kyoto, all Tomatoes with that undercut. Comes through, and he's got a big gap on everyone who was fighting him earlier. Bubbles also with the undercut, and he's going to have to hold on to those mediums for a bit longer, but it's looking pretty good for him to have a potential top 6 finish at this stage of the race. It's Mike97, Nakes finding a bit of trouble battling there, just goes wide. Kyoto challenging him for the position, but they both go super deep, and Nakes has lost even more time here. Little one trying to get into that slipstream is not going to be quite able to do so, and he might need a pit relatively soon. Carlitos on the hard tyres might be able to go to the end, and Wetzley heading into the pits now. F186 now in P10, followed by Rusky and Urist, who is sitting in 12th. Wetzley coming out of the pits in 13th, alongside Mr. Kimster, and Sebas was the retirement from earlier. So just 5 laps to go now. 4-second gap between Jaruni and Matima. Matima another 5.5 seconds ahead of his teammate in Tomatoes, who has got a pretty decent gap against Mike97 and Mr. Bubbles. And this undercut might be the deciding factor in this battle for P3. But we'll have to see how Tomatoes can handle on the these worn tyres compared to the drivers behind him. He does have an extra lap of wear, so those last few laps will definitely be a bit more of a challenge for him, but I definitely can see him finishing off a 2-3 for Santa Corsa at the end of this race. Mike97 still challenging though. He's within a second, and the gap is not getting any better for Tomatoes actually. Mike97 closing in by about 2/10 on the previous lap. Mr. Bubbles now in P5, and he might have to contend with Nakes in a little while too, but I don't think Nakes will be able to challenge any further than him. And Kyoto will also be in that fight as well. The soft tyres still pretty strong, despite the fact that they will obviously be struggling just a little bit more than the mediums at the end of the race. Carlitos running in 8th, followed by F186, Little One, and Urist now. And Urist is hoping his teammate can give him a bit of leeway. Little One on some pretty old, worn, hard tyres as it stands. Just give that position back to his teammate. Rusky in 12th, followed by Gwetzley and Mr. Kimster at the back. But it is, once again, smooth sailing from Jaruni. Matima was actually caught up quite a bit. I will say almost half a second on the last lap there, as the pole is just running closer and closer to the Belarusian, but it might be a bit, it's definitely going to be too little too late, even at that rapid of a gain. Half a second from the previous lap. Mike97 now in P3, ahead of Tomatoes. Tomatoes is slowly fading away from this race here. The tyres are just really not speaking to him. But again, things can happen. Mike97 still has to deal with the wear almost as much as Tomatoes does. So definitely couldn't be a fight on our hands for this final position on the podium. Tomatoes trying to dive in. He makes a mistake. He's still in the slipstream though as they enter the final lap. Nakes now in P5 have Kyoto and Bubbles, so we'll see a little fight for that one as well. F186 fighting away with Urist now. P8, P9, P10 with Carlitos in the slipstream of those two. But it is a 2-horse race now. It was a 1-horse race quite a while ago. Jaruni rounding the final corner, wins another feature race, and it's looking pretty good for him. Matima taking P2, and Still quite fast on his own. Mike 97 is rounding the final corner. He's just gotten ahead of Tomatoes, and he'll take that position on the podium. Kiato running through. He'll take 5th ahead of Nakes and Bubbles, who tie on the line, but it's going to be Nakes in P6. Eurist just ahead of F186 in P9. Then Carlitos and Gwetzley. Carlitos pimping them to P10. Gwetzley in 11th. Rusky in 12th. Little One and Mr. Kimster, the last finisher for the day. Well, interesting race. A lot of tight situations, especially the first stint, that really dictated how the rest of the race would go. And yeah, Girouni with a comfortable drive after getting away from the pack early on. And he will take the feature race here and take a lot of points home for HRT Push Pro. Matima will hold on to that championship lead as we enter the mid-season break, of course. Mike 97 with another podium, and it's good to see him running so strongly, just ahead of Tomatoes at the end, who did his best given the strategy he was on. And yeah, good showings from Kiato. Nakes in P6, I think that's a personal best for the season. Definitely a better drive for his standards. Bubbles in 7th, also a good result for him. Eurist in 8th, decent result. It's pretty hard for most of these drivers, especially given the absolute travesty that was the first stint we saw earlier there. A lot of skirmishes, a lot of trouble, even for the drivers who finished higher up the field there. But yeah, that'll be F186 in 9th, Carlitos 10th, Gwetzley and Rusky in P12, with Little One and Mr. Kimster finishing out just under 30 seconds from the leader, with Sebas finishing last with the DNF, of course. So that'll be it for not only this round, but the first half of the Challenger League season. And yeah, it's been quite exciting here, but we do have a definitive title leader at the moment. Not too many drivers who can challenge him, or for some, the ones who can challenge him not really being able to show up on a consistent basis, unfortunately. We will, however, have the week off, and in 2 weeks' time, we'll join you in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We'll see you then.